Welcome, friends, to another day of our book club. Today, our book is Ho'oani Hulu Warrior, and today we are talking about the Hawaiian culture, but also about continuing the conversation about the inclusion of all of our LGBTQ plus siblings. So, let's go ahead and read our book. Ho'oani Hula Warrior. There's a little note before the story begins, and it says, in ancient Hawaiian culture, every person had a role in society. Mahu, people who embraced both feminine and masculine traits, were valued as healers and as caretakers and as teachers of ancient traditions. In Ho'oani Hula Warrior, we hope to show that, in the spirit of this Hawaiian tradition, we can make room for all people, kane, wahine, mahu, and show every person the same unconditional acceptance and respect. Here's our main character. Ho'oani Kamai did not see herself as a wahine, or girl, or think that she was a kane, boy. She preferred just Ho'oani. She is who she is, her mother said. She does what she wants, her father said. But her sister, Kana, wished that Ho'oani did not sing songs so loud or play ukulele faster and better than every kane at school. One morning, Ho'oani's teacher, Kumuhina, made an announcement. This year, they would bring a Hawaiian custom back to the community. Our high school kane will perform a traditional hula chant, she said. We see her very excited here. Closing her eyes, Ho'oani could almost smell smoke from the driftwood fire. Hear feet stomping, see fingers tap-tapping, and palms pitter-pat-patting. And she sighed. If only she were kane and old enough for high school. Then Ho'oani heard auditions. Ho'oani could not wait to tell her family. There'll be 3 tests, she said, and Kumuhina thinks that I should try out. Her father, mother, and brothers were not surprised. Her sister Kana rolled her eyes. Really? Ho'oani wanted to say that she could not believe it either, but before she could speak, her sister changed the subject. The next day, Ho'oani jogged to the gym, and she peered inside. Strolling down the line, Kumuhina inspected each kane stance. On her command, their arms rose, bending at their elbows. When Kumuhina pushed down hard to measure each warrior's strength, Ho'onani's breath quickened. She should be with them. Her mind was made up, and she strode inside. One by one, their faces changed. A wahine? A wahine? Not a wahine. Last in line, Ho'oani lifted her arms as Kumuhina pushed down, and she held her place. Strong, sure, and steady. Ho'oani could not stop grinning when she told her family that she passed. And Kana frowned. How embarrassing. Her words made Ho'oani's chin tremble. She wanted to ask Kana if they could ride bikes again like they used to. But before she could speak, her sister had turned away. Memorizing the sway and song of story took patience and practice. Ho'oani did not stop until Hawaii's history was part of her, in her dreams by night and thoughts by day. Hands dragging across her face, arms reaching for the sky, as Ho'oani called the sun, the moon, the stars, she held her place. Strong, sure, and steady. So we see her envisioning the land while she's practicing. Finally, it was time to choose a leader. Ho'oani's stomach twisted in nervous knots. One kane, another, and then another stepped forward. Ho'oani studied them. Who was nervous or worried? Who stood tall and who slouched? Who stayed focused and who squirmed? Then her turn. Faces swam in front of Ho'oani as she called for attention. Oh yeah, oh! And she paused. Would they follow her? No time to think. Words pushed against her lips and the chant trembled out. Aika mumu keke, sweeping her warriors into a tidal wave of voices until Ho'oani called the end. Hai aya, hai aya, eo ai. Silence hung in the air. When Ho'oani saw complete awe and true acceptance, she held her place. Strong, sure, and steady. She was their leader. Later, Kumuhina beckoned her over. Her teacher spoke with respect and honesty. She said that some might not appreciate a wahine leading their sons up on stage. They might create a fuss. Ho'oani knew that she could not quit now. She had earned this position. She thought of her sister and looked up at Kumuhina. If someone wants to leave, she said, then that is their problem. That evening, Ho'oani couldn't wait to tell her family that she had been chosen as the leader of the Kane Hula troop. Her parents and brothers were proud, but Kana wasn't. Why do you always have to reject wahine things? Kana said. Just because I feel more Kane doesn't mean I'm not wahine. I'm in the middle. Why can't you just let me be me? Before Kana could speak, Ho'oani left the table. At last, the day of the show had arrived. People lined up, tickets in hand. Chatter overflowed the hall and the lights dimmed. Ho'oani wanted to feel strong, sure, and steady, but she was nervous. What if she wasn't Kane enough? If people protested, what would she do? From behind the curtain, a voice boomed. The next day, the island shook violently. Tutu Pele erupted from the depths. Oli! Ho'oani shouted back on cue. Ready or not, it was time. And to the beat of the drums, the thud of heels, the clack of sticks, she toe heel stomped across the stage. Ho'oani faced the crowd. Her skin prickled. She felt their curiosity stir in the darkness, but she held her place. Strong, sure, and steady. Aika mumu keke, her voice thundered. The crowd gasped with appreciation and roared with approval. One person stood. Ho'oni caught her breath. Kana? I see her sister clapping. Ho'oni had found her place, not as a wahine, not as a kane, but as a hula warrior. Today's story touched on a couple different topics that we've covered here. We talked a little bit and learned a little bit about the Hawaiian culture, about some of the traditional dances and songs that are done, but we also talked about the inclusion of all people and about allowing people to just be who they are. That is all that she wanted. And it's what she told her sister, why can't you just let me be me? She found her place. She found a way to express herself and to feel like she's a part of something bigger than just herself. So I hope that you enjoyed today's story, and we will be back next week with our final book of this theme. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.